still have never fully recovered from that, how they ravaged their own community at that particular moment in time. I only bring that up to say this. In this regard, and I only bring that up to say this. In this regard, when you're looking at the NBA, you're not talking about the players. You're talking about the collateral effect that it has on people the sport employs, on people in local economies who feed off of that. The fact is, just something like that, canceling the NBA season, is not just going to affect the players. It's going to affect thousands upon thousands of people, millions if not billions of dollars for the economies. And that's going to have a ripple effect. You can't ignore that because that's going to affect us.
Obviously,
that's not about games.
It's better not to riot. I'm not pro-riot, okay? Let me be very clear about that off the top.
I'm not saying that. I just brought that up.
Rioting in their own communities. Black people don't own those communities. They don't own those communities, and this culture has been rioting against black people for hundreds of years now.
That wasn't my point,
so it's just interesting. But they're not. The property they're destroying is not their own, even, in fact. I'm not. So that's why I said it's not like the idea that, well, this is counterproductive.
One, you can't tell a man what to fight for. Two, us as the blacks, we never had this moment. And I've heard that from people that's been fighting for us to be equal for 50 plus years. And I've heard they mouth say, we've never had this moment. So why not take advantage of it? Maybe Kyrie understands this moment. We've never had this moment. So we got to take advantage of it. There's no way a game is more important than police killing us. Yeah, it's been going on a long time, Stephen A. Yeah, it's been going on a long time. But how long are we going to continue to let it go on? How long are we going to be comfortable with just existing? I know it's higher ups that's talking. A black man shouldn't be saying that.
Stephenjackson, my brother, nothing but love for you. Let me say that out off the bat. You know I got love for you. We go back a long ways, and we're going to continue to go back a long ways, my brother. Mad love and respect to you. And my heart goes out to you and all the loved ones for George Floyd for what happened to him. I know that hits home for you. It hit home for a lot of us, but for you in special ways without question. Having said all of that, you told me you was going to hit me to the game. Let me hit you to some game. I disagree with Kyrie. I ain't changing one bit. And please don't tell me what a black man should say, because a black man should speak his mind, particularly with intelligence and knowledge, if he has it. You have it. I believe I have some of it. I believe in this instance, even though Kyrie Irving is a knowledgeable and good brother, in this instance, I don't think he displayed his knowledge about this. You know about the force majeure provision in the collective bargaining agreement for the NBA. You know that if the NBA season gets canceled, they can reopen talks and ultimately players are going to lose billions. You know about the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of jobs across the NBA landscape that's going to be lost if an NBA season doesn't resume. You know what kind of catastrophic effect that could potentially have on the economy. Now, I understand we're going to look at it and we're going to say desperate times call for desperate measures. Somehow, some way, this got to change. I agree with you. But what is that change? Because guess what? I heard it from you, Stephenjackson, watching you on CNN, talking about legislation on Capitol Hill, talking about how you didn't want to go see the president, talking about you ain't trying to be no photo op, that you want to raise awareness like LeBron and so many others are doing, and then hand that baton to somebody who knows what to do with it. That's what I'm talking about. I mentioned that when I talked on First Take this morning about how about raising awareness and then reaching out to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, who's already put in that groundwork with consent decrees that they negotiated with the city of Newark and Baltimore and Ferguson, Missouri, and beyond to make sure that the Justice Department had negotiated a deal in concert with police departments to hold police officers accountable. I'm the person that went on the air and called for federal legislation that it be designated a federal hate crime for a police officer to shoot and kill unarmed black men. How about addressing the issue of dudes that are incarcerated and then get out for nonviolent crimes? How about expunging their records instead of holding it against them when they apply for a job and keeping it on their application? All of these things are relevant, my brother. You alluded to some of it on CNN. You know how I feel about your brother Matt Barnes. I didn't hear that from Kyrie. All Kyrie said was systemic racism. I ain't down for it. I ain't playing. That's not good enough. You got to have a plan when you planning on not showing up to work to do your job. And it can't be just racial oppression vaguely. You got to be specific, bro. I stand by what I said. I meant every word I said. I'm not backing up, bro. You know me better than that. But I appreciate you. I appreciate the love and respect that you always show. All I would ask is you do the same for me. Don't ever assume that higher-ups are talking. Not out of my mouth, dog. I talk for me. Ain't nobody putting this in my mouth. And in terms of what a black man should say, this black man is preaching about the importance of having a game plan and executing that bad boy. Not just whistling into the wind about what we don't like. I'm not saying you're doing that. I'm not saying the protesters are out there doing that. I'm saying Kyrie did it with just that blanket statement as to why he did not want to play. I stand by what I said. You know I ain't budging. But I love you, bro. Keep on keeping on. We'll holler soon.
Peace and love and all that good stuff, man. If y'all seen them videos right there, hit that thumbs up button too while y'all watching, man. Fuck with me. And I was watching First Take yesterday before I went to work, and I knew what Stephen A. was gonna say. You know, you've been watching him on ESPN for like 20-something years, and you just know. You know, you could read people you study people, you could read them like the back of your fucking hand. Now, they both got the same name, but they're two totally different people. You know, Stephenjackson is from the streets. He wears his emotions on his sleeve. He just don't give a fuck at times. And then you got Stephen A., who's white collar, who is the top dog at ESPN, the $8 million man. He's paid his dues. He claims he's from the streets, but I beg to differ based off what I've heard. And Stephen A. has no backbone, so he can't stand up for nothing. You know, now how many times have you seen them have racial topics on First Take? And Max, the white liberal, who people want to invite to the cookout, which is a whole nother fucking topic, he constantly makes him look like he really we already know he's a coon. You know Stephen A's a sellout, but he just makes him look really bad. He did this when Kaepernick, when they did the whole Kaepernick thing last year with the whole NFL tryout. You know, if you look at the pattern of Stephen A. and his coonery, he always sides with the brand. And when people ask me, well, how do you say he's a sellout? He's always anti-Rage Against the Machine. When the NBA was telling players, you can't wear hoodies, he was the one telling them, y'all better listen to the NBA, y'all better listen to them. Y'all better do what the boss say. You know, when they told Allen Iverson he should cover up the tattoos and wear suits, Stephen A. was on his ass about that. You know, with the whole Kaepernick thing. Stephen A. was pro-NFL the entire time. Oh, you had your chance. You want to be a martyr. Remember that? You know, and then this was the same thing. So I kind of knew where he was going. But, I mean, and some people are discrediting Kyrie Irving. Like, oh, Kyrie just saying that because he's not all the way healthy anyway. The KD isn't ready. If they were championship contenders, they'd be playing. That could be a case. But I honestly think Kyrie Irving is coming from a genuine place. I don't think this has anything to do with basketball, ironically. You know, this is bigger than basketball. This is bigger than a fucking job. And he talks about the economy. COVID-19 already got the economy fucked up, and millions of people are out of jobs. They'll never get back. What are you talking about? The world is not going to stop functioning as you know it because of the NBA. And this is me, and I'm a sports fan. I love sports. I love basketball. My team is in the playoffs, but I don't give a fuck about this shit. You mean they did they just found the fifth black man hanging from a tree yesterday. Like we in some Jim Crow 1958 shit. And you talking about basketball? Like this shit is bigger than fucking basketball, man. But like I say, when you're a puppet like Stephen A. and you're controlled by the powers that be, you got to go with it, you know? And it's two different kind of brothers in this world. And you got the ones that's like, yo, man, I'm going to fight for what I want to fight for. And you can't tell a man what to fight for, like Stephenjackson said. And then you got the company men who, as long as that check is nice, he going to do whatever his bosses tell him to do. And that's Stephen A. Stephen A. is that comfortable Negro who has a good job, who does what he's told. He makes pretty good money. And he will always be here to put niggas in their place, like house niggas have always done. Put them niggas in their place and put the fear in them, the fear of God in these niggas. And that's what he's trying to do. Our communities, it's like Brother Polite did a video, and I was gonna do a video on it where he was talking about we need to stop burning down our buildings and our communities. I'm like, bro, we don't own any communities or buildings. We don't own shit like the Jews, the Irish, the Italians, the whites. That's why it's so easy for us to get displaced due to gentrification, because we don't own shit. You know how many black people got kicked out of Brooklyn? Because we didn't own shit. Culturally we own the borough, but we didn't own Brooklyn. Why do you think we getting outnumbered now? We don't own anything. And when a white guy has to say the obvious, Stephen A. was caught off guard by that. He was tongue-tied. You're missing my point. No, he's not missing the point. You're not getting his point. This is why I stopped watching that show years ago. I mean, I don't want to see the same two guys fake argue about sports anyway. It's the same shit. But, when it comes to these social issues, Max Kellerman constantly makes Stephen A. just look like the biggest coon that ever lived. You know what I mean? Shoe shining, boot licking, tap dancing Jones. And I don't know, Stephen A. I mean, the money really must be good, because, I mean, it's not cool when people who look like you constantly are telling you this shit. And it's not just one person. It ain't just me, but if people like yourself who look like you getting killed out here by police officers ain't enough for you to say, you know what, the hell, go off script, the hell with what ESPN wants me to say. You're a black man first before you're anybody on that network, before you're a sportscaster, radio DJ, whatever. You're a black man first and foremost. So speak from a black man's perspective for at least once. I mean, come on. And I'm not even disappointed. I'm just like, damn, dude, you really ain't got no fucking backbone. Oh, man, but let me know what y'all think about this shit, man. Stephen A. versus Stephen Jackson. Hit that thumbs up button, man. Holla at me.